Hi gang, Greta Schulz, author of To Sell Is Not to Sell and founder of Schulz Business. I want to talk to you today about what it takes to be successful in sales. Well, I wish it was really complicated because I would really charge a lot more money, but it's not. It's based on 3 A's. So you have to have straight A's to be good in sales. The first A is attitude. Number 1 is attitude. Belief in yourself, belief in your company, belief in your product or your service, and the passion for wanting to bring that forward. If you don't have passion in what you do, and you're doing it just because you heard you can make a lot of money, or somebody asked you to do it, or whatever it is, if you're doing it for that reason, you are probably not going to be successful, because this can be a tough business. It's one of those things that you have to think about all the time, and it really is. And business development or sales is a very satisfying career, at least in my opinion, because it has no ceiling. You can make as much money as you'd like. You can, be somewhat flexible with your time, all of those things. But number 1 is attitude. Unfortunately, I can't train on that. You have to believe that in your heart and in yourself. And if you don't have all those beliefs about what it is that you do, then you need to start thinking about doing something else. I mean it. The second A is activities. What are the things that you do to make things happen? And what's interesting about activities is I think we all know that you have to do things like prospecting to make things happen. The problem with prospecting is we often mistake prospecting for cold calling, which I will tell you, it's not the same thing. Cold calling may very well be a part of what it is that you do to prospect, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think to get out of the cold call business, or at least out of completely just cold calling, you have to have other things when it comes to activities. What are those things? Well, there's several. Some of the things that I think are really important when it comes to activities are you networking in your community? Are you networking at your local chamber of commerce, if that makes sense to you? Again, it depends on who you are and what your business is, but if that makes sense, then you should do that. You should also be networking at some kind of a trade organization or something within your community of your business or the people that you do business with. Whether it's the ad federation, whether it's the marketing association, whether it's the local bar association for attorneys, or whatever it is that you do, you need to be a part of your trade organization. The third one that I recommend is some sort of a charity or a non-for-profit. It could be a service organization like the Rotary or the Kiwanis, anything like that are terrific. Or it could be an actual nonprofit like a heart association, lung association, something like that. Any of those things are terrific because you have an opportunity to network with people who have like mind on things that are outside of business, and you really get to know people on a different level. The fourth one is some sort of a leads organization or networking organization. You've heard me before. I recommend BNI, Business Network International. There's lots of chapters all over the world, actually, and I think they do a really good job of being very consistent and having real strict, stringent rules to make it work very well. But again, there's other ones out there, and that's completely up to you. Besides networking, there is also what I call strategic alliances, which are relationships that you build one-on-one with people. Typically, you get them from your networking organizations, and you build those relationships so you can get together with that person periodically and share what you do, how you do it, what makes you different, what makes you better than your competitor, and who specifically is a good client for you. They share the same with you, and as you're out and about in your community, you help each other. And again, community could be geographic community, but it also could be the community of your industry, if you call it a particular industry. And it also doesn't have to be local geographic community. It could be nationwide, worldwide. I mean, we have so many opportunities today through Skype and all these other things that you can really build relationships with people anywhere. The other thing when I talk about activities is going back to past clients. Some of us are working with clients where once you sell them, you have to go back and continue visiting them, and that's fine. My problem with that is we tend to make those howdy calls. Howdy call is, hey, howdy, just checking on you, seeing everything's okay. It's a really dumb waste of time. What happens is you are wasting your time because you're not bringing anything of value, and when they see you or hear the phone call, they tend to say, no, we don't need anything. So you've created the atmosphere that the only time you call is to just ask if you can get something else, and that's not good. So if you do have a particular job that you're going back to existing or past clients, you want to make sure that you're always bringing something of value. And here's the way I say that. You want to do one of three things. You want to either share something new, meet someone new, or learn something new. So those are the goals you can set when you go in and visit someone. Learn something new that's going on in their organization. Maybe ask them something specifically. Share something new that you've got going on, whether it's a new product, a new service, new information, or meet someone new internally that maybe you don't know. So those are important things if you're going to go back to existing clients. Another thing you can put on your activity list is past clients. How often do you go back and visit your past clients? Are you going back and talking to them? And what are you doing when you do go back and talk to them? If you have somebody that isn't working with you anymore, they did make a decision at one time to work with you. So the opportunity is there again. Don't lose those contacts. It's much easier to get somebody back in your fold than to start and find somebody brand new. The last one, and it really isn't the last one, there's lots of things that you guys can do, but one of the other things you can do is go back to clients who've decided to go with someone else. In other words, when you put a proposal or whatever you'd call that, proposal, a recommendation, a quote, whatever it is that you put in front of somebody, if they decide to go with someone else, there is a honeymoon period of time that passes, that once that time passes, they either say, gosh, this organization isn't as good as I thought, or all the promises they made me aren't really coming to fruition. Now, they may be doing a great job, but if you don't check, you won't know. So what's the honeymoon period where somebody will say, now I'm at the point where I'm kind of seeing, you know, where the rubber meets the road. You need to check back and find that out after that honeymoon period. There's also public speaking. There's also videos like I'm doing here. There's lots and lots of things, social media. So all of those things should be part of your activity goals. And your activities are your prospecting mix of things that you do. The most important thing is not what the numbers are under each one of those categories, but it's to do them no matter what. Set them for a month at a time, and then when you are working through the month, if you're busier a couple of particular days or weeks, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you wear other hats, that's okay. Just make sure by the end of the month you make it up. Because once you let activities lag, it doesn't affect you today and tomorrow. It affects you next week, next month, and 6 months from now. So you have to keep your activities up. That's one of your most important things to do to develop your business. I know it's more fun to work in your business, but if you're not consistently working on your business, you won't have any business to work in. The last thing is your approach. What do you do? What do you say when you're in front of somebody? Are you getting clear next steps every time? Are you getting an agreement to move to the next step? Do you know where you are in the sales cycle at all times? Are you being able to forecast when this thing will close and if it will close? You should be able to have that information, and if you don't, that's one of the things you need to learn. So those are the 3 A's, and those are the 3 things you need to make sure that are on top of your mind all the time. If you would like to learn more about this, if you think that 3 A's thing is kind of interesting and you want to learn a little bit more, I have as you know, I have a training program, which is the B2B Sales Playbook. But I also have a monthly training that's a video. It's maybe 45 minutes long, and it trains on each of these different aspects, not just the 3 A's, but lots of different things. If you'd like to check that out, it may be worth it for you to do that. It's pretty interesting, and it's not as intense as my regular program. So check it out. Click on that and try that. See if you like it. Get one. Look at one, you know, for free. See if you like what it says. If you do, then you can subscribe, and if you don't, you don't. But that may be something, if you're liking this 3A thing, will probably help you along the way. Good selling.